Hello and welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Delano de Souza and this is Marion Touboul. On the show today, Marion will be taking us to the world's largest island. What is it?
Well, it's Greenland, which is still governed by Denmark.
Okay, so an island not with the white sandy beaches which we were all thinking of. You were in a part of Greenland to the east of the country where there's a problem with the young people.
That's right. There's a high suicide rate there. According to a recent estimate, 1 in 4 young people has already tried to commit suicide. The problem is even more prevalent on the east coast, where we filmed, in the small town of Tasiilaq. The young feel abandoned there, in this town surrounded by ice.
Okay, so the suicide rates are higher than here in France. In fact, take a look at this report which Marion filmed alongside Johan Prodome. It's Greenland, a young generation adrift.
In the east of Greenland, Tasiilaq, alone in the remote Arctic. It's 3 in the morning, the beginning of summer. The temperature is -5 degrees, and these teenagers are not sleepy. In the frozen white of the night, they meet on the village square to listen to American pop music.
It's a group that have Wi-Fi, then they watch videos of famous people that on YouTube, and then they try to be them. They show off their skills and dancing and doing stuff.
Their parents, meanwhile, are whiling away the night in the muggy atmosphere of the village bar. To the beat of Greenlander rock, their steps are heavy with the free-flowing alcohol. We're a world away from the wild and mystic Greenland of the postcards. Tasiilaq, with its 1,600 inhabitants, is the only town in a region the size of France. Only a century ago, the Inuit people living here were self-sufficient, relying on hunting and fishing. But that all vanished when Danish colonizers decided to settle the population and establish a town. Roads, schools, dispensaries arrived at the same time as the consumer society. And with it, unemployment. Now the Inuits of Tasiilaq rely not on nature, but on handouts paid by the Danish state. At the start of each month, the same people gather at the cash dispensers of this supermarket, where we meet up again with Benjamin, the nighttime dancer.
They take the money and then they buy. That's too much alcohol. Tonight there's going to be a lot of alcohol. It's bad.
Drink is hidden behind these curtains to try to reduce consumption, which is creating havoc. Unemployment, crises of identity, loneliness. Torn between tradition and modern life, it's the young who are the most vulnerable. Moshes, 21 years old, dreams of being a footballer, but for the moment he wastes his time on the streets of Tasiilaq. As he doesn't have a job, he survives on his 150 euros a month allowance from Denmark.
We need more jobs here, but many of them are drinking alcohol and they will not work and they will just drinking beers.
A deadly vision of the future shared by many young people. Greenland wins the prize every year for hopelessness, with a suicide rate the highest in the world, 8 times higher than France. Moshes lost his best friend last year.
He was drunk and his girlfriend, she with another boy, so he angry and drunk, so he go home and he kill himself. I was thinking I can't continue anymore, so I think I'm lost everything. So I cried every day, so I go to his party out there and cry and talk to him. Yeah.
Under the snow is an area the size of a football pitch. On average, they bury one teenager here every month.
I don't really remember which one is my best friend, but I think this one of them.
Now, some people are looking for ways to fight back. This theatre group has created a show which exposes things that most people in Tasiilaq would prefer to ignore.
We can show that it's hard for everyone to hear. Some people die, some people killing themselves. Yeah, it's hard. We're gonna show them. Young people have a lot of problems of their lives, yes, and they can say anything. So I decided to help all the young people. So I started this. They telling the story of their lives, and you see them crying. They telling the problems they had.
These scenes reveal the country's greatest taboo.
Many children or people are sexual assault, yeah, and that's the biggest problem, can we say.
Nearly a third of young Greenlanders are victims of sexual aggression, a tragedy often caused by alcoholism that takes place in the privacy of the family home. It's one of the main causes of the epidemic of suicides. The theatre seeks to exorcise their traumas.
To start with, we're always a bit shy, but really it does us good. It liberates us. Yes, we feel stronger. I thought I would cave in when I heard what my brother had done, because it left me all alone. It was terrible. I was inconsolable. It's a good thing I found support here.
Joelsin, aged 16, is the younger sister of Moshe's best friend, the one who committed suicide last year. Every afternoon, she meets her theatre friends. They go to one of the rare venues in Tasiilaq, where young people can be safe from both the cold and their parents.
When our parents drank, they said awful things to us. Like, they didn't want us anymore. They were waiting for us to die, my brother and me. When his girlfriend left him, my brother felt completely abandoned. However often I go to his grave, it still doesn't comfort me.
It's terrible, but this way out by suicide, we've all been tempted by it at some time.
The theatre seeks to offer a different perspective. Today, they're meeting at the group founder's house. Rejected during childhood because of his feminine appearance, 17-year-old Eno now fully accepts his difference. In his bedroom, the American stars who have inspired his dream to become an actor.
Hollywood star, that's my dream. Here, my motivation. It's an Oscar.
Eno's parents are the only ones supporting the theatre project. They're proud that young people are at last lifting the veil on a social taboo.
In my opinion, they're very courageous to go back over all these traumatic events. They support each other. It's a good thing. I'm sure they could bring down the suicide rate.
Support which is all the more crucial because psychologists here, as in the rest of Greenland, are extremely rare. When a young person goes astray, he or she is taken in by this establishment, where about a dozen people, learning the job as they go along, attempt to help them.
We do have a psychologist who comes each month from the capital, but he stays only 2 or 3 days, so it's not long.
These social workers try to re-establish the parent-child relationship, which is often broken down.
Parents have great difficulty in bringing up their children. When they aren't drinking, they spoil them too much, and they overprotect them. And as soon as they start drinking, they forget about them completely.
It's the last rehearsal before they go live on stage in front of their parents. It's a chance to give a message to them in the form of a confession.
They come to the world and they will say thank you for bringing me here.
But on the day of the show, the parents haven't turned up. A few minutes before curtain up, the audience is made up mostly of young people and their teachers.
Today, our show is a bit different. We've decided to share with you the difficult experiences that we've been through. This is the first time we've spoken about them.
At the pivotal moment in the show, the spectators struggle to contain their emotions. The performance ends, and despite their tears, the young actors are proud to have broken the silence. The audience leaves the hall feeling both moved and embarrassed. Outside, some of the mothers present are sobbing. It seems the gamble has paid off. Perhaps this new awareness will guide Tasiilaq onto the path of recovery and help the young towards feeling more loved.
Now, what's surprising is the town you were filming in has only 1,600 inhabitants. It's the size of France, but it seems that the young people only had the internet to keep them in touch with the outside world.
Yes, internet has a very complex role here. On one hand, it's a constant reminder of how secluded they are. On the other, it's also an incredible source of inspiration for them. For instance, Enno, the leader of this theater company, he had the idea of creating this project thanks to American singer Miley Cyrus, who had created herself an NGO to help deprived young kids. So that's how he decided to do the same thing. And you can see that the internet has a double agenda here.
A vraiment un double rôle.
Clearly playing a role there because now when you were there, you met a musical group and they really put their finger on the pulse on why the youth in Greenland feel left behind.
Oui, j'ai effectivement rencontré ce groupe.
Yes, I met this musical group called Nanook, which means bear in Greenlandic. And they're very known because they talk about how difficult life is in Greenland. And that's also why I interviewed them, because I wanted to have their opinion on the issue. Let's take a listen.
There's a lot of theories. And in school we learned that it could be because of the development, as Andreas said. It has gone too fast and the people couldn't relate to it. But also the old tradition in Inuit was that when you were a burden to a society, you just committed suicide. Maybe that could be involved as well.
In general in Greenland, there's a lot of youth that needs help, but we just lack the human resources to help them, and that's a really bad situation. But some things are looking up, but it's not easily solved, these problems.
Now, Greenland is looking for ways to create jobs, by creating international airports. Could, getting young people jobs be the way to end this disillusionment amongst the Inuit youth?
Alors effectivement, la création d'emplois, ça représente.
Well, many people are indeed betting on job creation, but what's important is to see how it will be implemented. Will it be with foreign investment from China or Russia, for example? And the risk here is that they lose the little culture they have left. And that's what Inuits are fighting for. They want to preserve their traditions while opening up to modernity.
Tout en intégrant la modernité, mais en gardant vraiment leurs traditions.
Really a fascinating story indeed. Marion, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. And that's where we leave it. Thank you very much for watching this edition of Reporters. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.